Welcome back to Consciousness Explained series. This is Shiva. So far we have only seen abstract concepts, and today we are going to see how the balancing works, how we are learning by experience in a real world setting. And we will see in 4 stages: belief, trust, commitment and faith. From the previous part, we mentioned about balance and free will. Those two are the magic duo which is responsible for all the movement in the world, and this acts in a closed loop feedback mechanism. And also we talked about the balance affecting factors, scope of ego, darkness and attachment. Part 2D covers more in detail about these factors and their weightages, and the weightage increases as the scope of ego narrows and darkness thickens and attachments get stronger, weight increases. The combined weight and the balance gets affected exponentially by these factors as it grows. Oneself, this is the first stage where the universal driver for action, as we had seen before, is to increase happiness and avoid pain. And the aspects that are typically are known to the mankind and which are objective. Balance in individuals is not a requirement, but will enhance the quality of the experience and reduce the chances for not knowing that the promises are being broken, and also it will help progress further. Now the first level, we call it B1, and the promise impact is fairly negligible. And as you see here, there is ideas or info about the physical world. The person has a belief that the ideas and the learning that he is doing is going to improve his knowledge. Whatever he is learning is going to increase his happiness or avoid pain. And it is measurable, mostly measurable, verifiable, and repeatable. And since it's mostly because human being is involved, that's why it's not 100%. The second level is the tools and techniques, and it involves the power aspect of the individual, and confidence, enthusiasm, self-control, health, wealth, hobbies, all that fall into this category. And again, there is belief that these are going to give benefit to the individual. Third level is the human feelings and emotions, and here it's not that measurable, not verifiable, and partly repeatable. So you have all these shopping, eating, media, entertainment all fall into this category, where it gives individual happiness, pleasure in this. The victim's zone, we will cover more detail in the written path. Now the next stage is by trust, where one individual trusting another individual. Aspects are mostly known, but there is some subjectivity because two individuals are involved. And balance again is not a requirement, but will reduce the chances for disappointments and will help avoid being victims. And also it will help to seek alternatives. If trust is broken, you will see another person or another individual to perform those actions. So we'll see different levels in this stage. So the first level is the thought based, request, discussion, talks, verbal agreements. Second level, the B5 in this stage is the power, where we do the bartering, trading, skills training, renting, handyman service, and mechanization. And this is where the science and technology and the modernization and the society that's led by it stops at this level, basically. So the goal of science and technology is basically to make all these up to what we have seen, to help them mechanize through machines and through convenience tools and techniques, so that we don't have to spend our energy towards unnecessary things. So here the friendship, performing arts and show, partying, living together is in this level. And it's measurable, verifiable, and repeatable, those become really minimal from this point onwards, because the science really works on the repeatability and measurability and verifiability. So that stops from this point onwards. Now the victim zone, again, as I said, we will cover more in detail when we come back. The next stage is based on commitment. So in the commitment, the aspects are interrelated, and they are partially known but has hopes built in. Critical to have balance in order for having a very quality life, and also the breakups has very serious consequences, and will also help avoid being victims. And if there is a struggle, it will also help to seek wise counsel if you are more closer to balancing. Now the first level in this stage, B7, is having a average impact if that commitment is broken, right? Some of the aspects that falls into this is dignity, theology, constitution, law, ethics. The next level, B8, large institutions, political freedom, globalization, enforcement, all these come under the power category. Now the feeling category is family relations, parenting, marriage, morality, affiliations to religion, caste, race, and sex. Those are supposed to give the best of the mankind. This is the topmost for the human relationships. Up to this level, you can consider them more like a non-spiritual. But the problems, if it arises, unless you progress higher, the balancing will invariably lean towards becoming victims and not seek the wise counsel and etc. So this area is really very least measurable, minimally verifiable, and almost not repeatable. Now the victim zone, again, we'll see more when we come back. The spiritual action is what is going to be covered in this one. It is internal, it's a zero loss, and it has to be total, and it has to be out of balanced. So if an individual is not balanced and want to seek another individual with no balance, there is no possibility for spirituality, meaning there is no possibility for faith between two imbalanced individuals. In this B10, the disciple who is still approaching the balance but not yet balanced. So from the disciple part, need full commitment, all aspects of mind expected in total. From master's part, master is the one who is a balanced person, is the only one who can really operate in this zone of faith. Note that failure is not possible for faith. So faith is completely intuitively aware. The topmost stage is the B11, where both individuals are already in balanced state, and they are basically operate in this faith, which is total, and all aspects are out of balanced. Aspects in this stage cannot be known objectively, and these are entirely personal and can only be experienced, and no external aspects can determine. It is all internal. From Bible, which says be still and know that ye God, is really referring to this balancing state. And similarly, Hindu scriptures use two words, one to signify faith, which is by the name Visvasa, that means without breath. That's again back to stillness. And the other word is Agama, that means no movement, which is referring to intuition. This is the core part of religion, and we'll see more details in the later part how religion really comes into play. Unfortunately, with the religions, majority religions especially, lost its focus in its area and started degrading due to individuals' folly, which really took a downward turn. We have Hindu scriptures. The earliest lawgiver by name Manu has classified these 4 stages that we had gone through into 4 different what is called castes, and those are divided with meaningfully, but unfortunately due to attachment and due to greed, human follies, it degraded. We'll see more in detail as we go into the degradation path. Degradation takes place from this point onwards, where some of the disciples who are fallen individuals basically become the drivers for committing heinous crimes, and who claim to be masters that are not, like all the false prophets, and those victimizes all the other people in the previous stages. On this relationship slide, or which is called as Kshatriyas, because Kshatriyas denotes warriors. So warriors is not really a physical fight here. So the warriors here signifies they are fighting for ideals, and they are fighting for the rights of other individuals, and they are fighting for others' benefits. If you are not progressing, if you don't have the progressive goal towards balancing, we unfortunately become victims of that fallen individuals who are driven to cause unrest, dogmatism, massive corruption, greed, and so on, listed here. And all these hate crimes, religious wars, everybody up to this stage get affected by this victimization. Those who progressed up to this point but haven't progressed further, but those who become cunning, victimize the next stage, and the lower stages. Now this is the acquaintance trust zone. The Hindu system calls them Vaishyas or traders. Again, they are not really money exchanging traders. Dealings are one-to-one. That's what is really signified by traders. That cunning individuals from the previous stage basically use all these different brainwashing techniques, empty lawsuits, threats, and black magic, systemic inefficiencies, labor exploitation, price fixing, ransom, mafia, cruelty, depression, poor parenting. The next degradation is those who come to this stage but do not really progress forward. This is not really a major criminal crime range, but it is some sort of a deception is involved here, which takes us to the lowest stage, fall under the boredom, stupidity, and purposelessness, inefficiencies, wastage, disease-prone, gun culture, violence, individual violence, the balancing and free will, and what is the consequence for degradation. All those kind of work in the balancing cycle, as we saw. Hope it helped you to get the picture of the balancing and free will in the real world. Your feedback and comments and questions are welcome. Send emails to phdryan10@gmail.com, or join Atmarashtra Soul Kingdom, which is a public group in Facebook. You can post your questions and comments directly there, and watch more on this series through PhD Shiva YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.